this is Jenny from the Sewing Palace. Today's demo day is on this adorable pillow right here. It's a pattern by Lella Boutique and it's using a mini charm pack. I'll show you the mini charm. It's called Christmas Eve. It's this cute little mini charm pack. And when you purchase the kit from us, we have the pattern and the charm pack all packed together. You can supplement with a little charcoal fabric, white fabric, and red fabric for your background, ribbons, and bows. Let's give you a close-up of this really cute pillow. It finishes at 17 inches, so I put an 18-inch pillow inside of there. It's nice and puffy. A couple of tools that you'll want to have when you're making this pillow. There are pretty small flying geese, so I used a combination of Terrio Magic, which is a starch type of alternative for fabric, and Best Press. And so I took 2/3 amount of Best Press and then 1/3 of an amount of Terrio Magic. And I put it in this little mister bottle so that I could get a nice solution of that. If you want it a little bit stiffer, you can change the proportions. So a little bit more Terrio Magic. That'll give you a little more stiffness. The nice thing about that is when you cut your squares, they don't stretch, they don't move. They also don't ravel as easily. So when you're working with small units, that's a great tool to use. The other tool I found really helpful for this project was a really small Bloc Loc Ruler. So you can see this guy finishes 1/2 inch by 1 inch finished Bloc Loc Ruler. There is some tips and tricks for using that. And I'm going to cut them bigger and then square them up, and I'm going to make 4 at a time. I'll also show you the traditional method for making them, so you can check that out. Let's take a closer look at our giving season pillow. This is an 18-inch finished pillow. I have quilted the front using straight line quilting on my walking foot, and then the back is composed of an envelope closure, and my pillow form is on the inside. And that is all finished. I did use my serger to finish the edges on the inside. There are a few finished units here. There is some solid squares of charcoal, some flying geese units, and then some present units, and then some borders. So pretty simple units, just a lot of fun little units. To get started, you'll need your pattern and some supplementary yardage. So the pattern we have as a kit, the pattern includes the cute little mini charm pack called Christmas Eve by Lella Boutique. And then you will need to supplement with some yardage. You'll need the mini charm pack or 38 2.5 inch squares. Then you'll need 3/8 of a yard of a charcoal fabric, 1 10-inch by 10-inch white fabric, and then you'll need something you want for the pillow backing, which could be whatever you want, but you'll need 3/8 of a yard, and then some batting, and of course a pillow form. I did have some of these in my scraps, so I supplemented with some of these to make some extra flying geese to play with. You'll need to pick 38 squares out of your mini charm pack to start making the geese. They're small units, and all of the cutting directions are in the pattern. Since it is copyrighted, you can find those measurements exactly in the pattern. The traditional way to make a flying geese unit is to start with your center unit. So here is my starting unit, and the first step is you take your side flying geese units and you lay them up into one side. You get a fabric-friendly pen and mark a line diagonally from point to point, and you sew directly on that line. When you're done with that, you then flip this out and trim away the excess charcoal fabric and also the pretty fabric. Then you'll repeat that process on the other side by lining up these outside edges, mark a line diagonally from point to point, and then flip it out, and you'll have this adorable little flying geese unit. When you're done with your flying geese unit, you will then add squares to the side. Right now my ribbon is really upside down, so there is the correct way to lay it if you want to look at the present right side up. So that is one of the units that you need to create. And then the other unit is the present. And when these seams are sewn together, they'll match in width with this unit here. So this is 2 dark fabrics or 2 coordinating fabrics, and then the ribbon in the middle. You can take your time matching those if you want the ribbons to match. I really didn't fuss over it. I just had whatever flying geese units and mixed them around to match with whatever ribbon with whatever present. Totally up to you. So you'll want to make a lot of flying geese units and some present units. You'll also need some charcoal units that are 2 different sizes as directed in the pattern, and some borders. I would like to show you a trick on making flying geese this small using a separate tool called the Bloc Loc Ruler. I'd like to start off by talking to you a little bit about how I made this a little more efficient. I absolutely love this pillow, but these little flying geese units, there's quite a few of them, in total of 25, and there's a little more efficient ways to make the flying geese than directed in the pattern. There's nothing wrong with the way the pattern's written. This is just a little more efficient way. This is the no waste method by Bloc Loc, and it results in 4 geese at a time, and it's really efficient. You make them a little bit bigger and then you trim them down with a specialty ruler. This ruler in particular that I'm going to be using is this adorable little Bloc Loc 1/2 inch by 1 inch finished flying geese ruler. So we do have these available at the store. We also have these handouts available at the store at no charge. They're on our website. Bloc Loc has produced them, so you can find them from them as well. And then when you're looking at the chart, I just wanted to point out, over on the left-hand side is your finished flying geese size, and then it tells you to cut 4 small squares. And so in this example, that's the red, and 1 large square. In this example, it's the green. So when you're looking at this chart, you want to look over on the left-hand column and look for the finished size. And then it goes all the way up to 6 by 12. So this is a very helpful chart. You will then want to purchase your corresponding Bloc Loc ruler, which for this example is this cute little guy right here. So to start off, I do need my charcoal fabric. That will grow up to be the piece that's right inside that goose. And then your ribbons will be the 4 squares of a coordinating color. They don't all have to match. I just cut all these from the same fabric. If you're using the mini charm, you probably won't have enough to make them all match, but mine doesn't match either in my pillow, so it's entirely up to you. Your first piece, the charcoal, that's cut 2 1/2. And then these, the 4, are cut 1 5/8. You then use a fabric-friendly pen and you mark a line diagonally from point to point and lay those squares on opposite corners, lining up the raw edges. You will then sew 1/4 inch on each side of the line. Now that you've sewn 1/4 inch on each side of that line, I did it in contrasting thread so you could see it. You'll then cut on the line that you marked in between your stitching lines, and then you will press this unit so that you have a heart shape, which is pushing these away and pressing that unit like so. Once you have this unit pressed, you will take one of your other squares. It will lay in this charcoal corner, lining up the raw edges, and you're going to sew 1/4 inch on each side of this line. You've sewn on each side of that line, you will again cut on the line that you marked, and this will yield 2 flying geese. You will press this away, and then we will trim them down. From this other, you will yield 2, which gives you 4. Once you've got a unit like this, you will then get ready to trim them up. Your ruler will lock right in. You can see my seams were pressed up towards the green fabric. And when I lay that ruler, it locks really nice right into place. And you're going to trim all the way around the ruler. Since these are small units, this is a great way to achieve really good perfection and a nice size unit that is hard to work with, but this made it super easy. Again, those diagonal lines, make sure that you get that diagonal to the point and the 1/4 inch reveal in the corner. So there's one of my units. Look how perfect that flying geese unit is. Let's do it again. Hey, thanks for joining me in making the Giving Season Pillow by Lella Boutique. This is Jenny from the Sewing Palace in Helena, Montana. Happy holidays.